Hello, Internet! You know, it's always a good idea to get out of your comfort zone and try something new. I've never been around here before, so I thought it would be a good place to start. Oh, I wonder what this thing does. The mascot platformer is such an interesting genre to me. For a whole decade, it was almost entirely unavoidable, but nowadays, with a few exceptions, you only really see them in revivals or occasional indie releases. Now, between those smaller sporadic releases and the big mainstays like Mario and Sonic, there isn't a lot in between. That is, save for a few platforming franchises that got their start on the good old PlayStation 1. You see, the PlayStation didn't have such a mascot at the time like its competitors, so the studio Naughty Dog took inspiration from games like Donkey Kong Country to make a fully 3D platformer for the console, and it certainly paid off. The game they developed, Crash Bandicoot, became one of the best-selling releases on the PS1 and kickstarted a series that still continues to this day, albeit not without quite a few ups and downs along the way. Now, this is a series I am somewhat familiar with, but I've never fully completed a single game in it. So why don't we start with this first entry? The story is so simple it's practically non-existent. Dr. Neo Cortex wants to create an army of genetically modified animals but accidentally creates Crash, who's determined to stop him and save a female Bandicoot named Tana. And on the surface, the gameplay is just as easy to understand. You're not in expansive playgrounds like Mario 64, you're going from point A to point B in a fashion not too dissimilar to 2D platformers, albeit with a bit more depth. Crash can jump, spin around like a tornado, and that's all you really have to work with. All in all, this first game sounds pretty simplistic and easy to complete, right? Alright, now that's just excessive. Yes, if you haven't played Crash Bandicoot before, one thing you need to know going in is that it is hard. Crash only has one hit point, and he's going to get flattened, blown up, burned, and dropped into the abyss many, many times. It's not super difficult to get your hands on extra lives, but you're going to need them, because if you get a game over, it's all the way back to the last save you made, and depending on how frequently you save, that's a lot of progress lost. But that shouldn't be a big deal, you just have to remember to save after each level. Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you? Well, if you want to save, you have to either complete a Tana bonus stage, or fully complete a stage to earn its gem, both of which you can do a finite number of times. Why? This is Crash Bandicoot, not Resident Evil. And how do you complete a stage exactly? It's simple. Just break every single individual box across the entire layout of the stage in one single attempt without dying. I lied, it's not simple at all. Not only do you need certain gems to obtain others, but in certain cases, because of how the camera is set up, you have to go against it to backtrack and travel all the split paths. It contradicts the main gameplay entirely, and it's not very fun. So at the end of the day, would I recommend you play the original Crash Bandicoot? Surprisingly, yes. Sure, it's incredibly difficult, but everything moves in a consistent pattern. If you take the time to learn how everything works, you can more than power through the stages, and it feels really satisfying. While the game is a bit punishing for my tastes, let's be honest, there are plenty of ways to circumvent the stingy save system, including the password feature. If a level is really giving you trouble, you can find a code to skip it easily. But the thing that I think Crash Bandicoot really excels at is presentation. There's this tropical, tribal vibe that was pretty common at the time, but still is very enjoyable. And each character is goofy and expressive in their own way. As for this place in particular, I think I'm gonna leave it to the Bandicoots. I'm not exactly fit to... Uh-oh.